was scrolling and found it as
Okay, got it. That's a flat. That's very flat now.
hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I'm Dr. Janice Fortman, and I'd like to welcome you to the Relationship Matters Show. I'm very happy to see all of you here. And today the show is just going to be a little different. Usually I have a guest or two that I interview, and we talk about their journey, where they are today. I've had conversations with all kinds of people, entrepreneurs, entertainers, authors, financial experts, hypnotherapists, skin pet specialists, personal trainers, just a lot of different people. And they talked about their journeys and how they got to where they are today. Today, however, I'm going to have a conversation with you. So it's just you and me. No other guest other than you. Since I usually start off with a person's, where they started, their journey. If it's okay with you, I would like to talk about my journeys and how my relationships have played a major part in my journey. In other words, I'd like to say that I am a product of my relationships, both personal and professional. So I'd like to start off with a little bit about me. Now, I've been told that I love to talk, so hopefully I don't talk for the whole hour, because I really want you all out there to participate, to give comments, questions. If it's some particular relationships that you want to talk about, if you have advice about relationships, or even if you're having a challenge with a relationship, I'd like you to join in and comment. Well, let's start with a little bit about me. I was born by the river in a little tent. No, I wasn't. That song just came to my mind. No, I was born in Dallas, Texas. I was the bouncing baby girl of Jessie Mae Lewis and John Alvin Lewis. At 2 years old, my mom moved us to Chicago, Illinois. I grew up in Altgeld Gardens. Go AG. AG rocks. And we still rock. And Altgeld Gardens is a public housing development. I went to kindergarten, elementary school, and high school. George Washington Carver Elementary and High School. Now, Altgeld Gardens is on the very, very far south side of Chicago. As a matter of fact, if you go past the gardens, which is called the Garden Spot of America. If you go past the gardens, then you are in Indiana. Now, Altgeld Gardens back then was primarily an African American community. There were, I think, a few other cultures, but it was primarily African American. I did not really venture out too much from the gardens. However, my mom always exposed me and my three brothers, three younger brothers, to the museums. We used to go to what we would call the city. We would get on the bus. The bus was called Big Red. We get on the bus and we go to the city, and we would go to the museums, to the art institutes, to all kinds of different cultural affairs. My mom exposed me to a lot of things that I don't think I would have been exposed to probably until I got a little older. But this was something that she was determined to make me a real well-rounded individual. Now, so that was primarily in elementary school. In high school, I was not the best student, unfortunately. I like to play a lot, and I like to talk a lot, which you'll find out today. But my mother was determined that I was going to graduate from high school and go to college. Now, I didn't want to go to college because I was in this singing group called the Sweet Tones. And one day, Jerry Butler, and I'm sure some of you are familiar with him, Jerry Butler came to a talent show, and he heard us singing, and he wanted us, once we graduated from high school, to be back up singers. But my mother said, "Oh, no, you're not. You're not going to be anybody's backup singer. You're going to college." And so that's what I did. I went to college and I graduated, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I wanted to be, what I wanted to do. So I kind of worked in corporate America, here and there, bouncing around to different jobs. And one day I decided I've always had a dream, to follow my dream. I've always had a dream to be a teacher. Now, when I say I've always had a dream, when I was a kid, a little girl, and we would play outside, and this is before computers and all of that. Yeah. So you know how long that's been. We would play school, and I was always the teacher. When I was in high school, I was a mentor, and I tutored, but I was always teaching. Now, so as I go along, I'm going to show you how that very first relationship I had in my life, which was my mom, how when I say I'm a product of all of my relationships, I'm going to start with that. When I started getting jobs, I always wanted a job where nobody would be directly over me, meaning I didn't want to have a supervisor. Now, what kind of job can you have without a supervisor? And I was like this because I always felt my mother was very controlling. Even though she raised me to be independent, still I thought she was too controlling. And so I decided whatever job I got, I was going to make sure I was in a position where I didn't have a supervisor right over me telling me what to do. And this is why I ended up really becoming a teacher, because I thought I can be in the classroom, I can kind of do my own thing. Yes, there's someone over me, but they're not right in that same room with me. So I taught for 30 years in the Chicago public schools. I taught fine arts and special education. So now, right now, I'm an author, a speaker, and a show host. So let me tell you how I became an author. No, you know what? Speaker is first. Let me tell you how I became a speaker. I was teaching in elementary school, and the principal and I had this relationship, a really great relationship with the principal of the school. And she offered me a chance to go to a workshop for a week. And I thought, oh, yeah, wonderful. Love that, because I don't have to be in the classroom for a week. I didn't know that it was a trainer of trainers workshop, which meant when I got back to school, I had to give a six-week workshop to my fellow teachers, my colleagues. I was scared to death. And of course, I was not welcomed by then. It was like, who does she think she is? She doesn't know anything any more than we do. But as I gave the workshops, I started getting better, and I thought, you know what? I really like this. I really like speaking in front of a group of people and imparting information, motivating, inspiring, and I just loved it. After that, I decided I think I want to come out of the classroom, and I applied for a job as facilitator. Now that meant I had to go to all different schools throughout the Chicagoland area, elementary and high school, and train teachers and administrators on reading comprehension, improving reading comprehension. I thought, ooh, you know what? I still kind of like this. It's kind of hard in a sense, but I kind of still like this. Then I started doing educational workshops for the state of Illinois. But one day, talking about relationships, I met this professor, and he said, Janice, have you ever thought about doing workshops for you on your own? And no, I never thought about that. But he told me, you really need to look into that. So I started. I went to Hawaii, did a workshop, made a little money. And I thought, okay, being a speaker is kind of nice. Now, that's how I really kind of became a speaker. But how did I become an author? So I'm going to go back a little bit. I taught special ed. I taught elementary and high school children who had learning disabilities and behavior problems. And I noticed that there were 10 most common misbehaviors of the little bitties, kindergartners and elementary school kids. And there were certain interventions that you could do to keep those misbehaviors from accelerating into something really, horrible. And I decided to write a book. And the book is entitled The Little Book of Big Behavior Interventions. So it has the 10 most common misbehaviors and why they misbehave and what to do about it. So that's how I wrote my first book. But now I'm going to jump forward again, because I decided as I got older that I was going to get a doctorate degree. Now, I really didn't decide that. Talking about relationships. My friend, Dr. Sarah Crawley, convinced me to join her and another friend of ours, Shirley, into getting our doctorate degrees. It was hard. I'm not going to say it was easy, because it was extremely difficult. But finally got a doctorate degree. And we formed relationships that supported us, that kept pushing us, just telling us, you've got to do this, you've got to finish, you've got to get this degree. And we still have some of those relationships today. But still in all, I was still kind of reticent, even though I enjoyed speaking and I really enjoyed matriculating and learning. I was still I didn't want to toot my own horn, so to speak. Another relationship, because I really kind of stopped speaking, but I started doing some training and some networking. And I got a coach to help me. And I formed this relationship with this most wonderful woman called Rose Chastain. Now, Rose said to me one day, look, I want you to write down everything you've done, what you want to do. Just tell me all about you. And after when I did that, she looked at me and she said, you know what? You are a badass. You need to step out. You need to pursue your goals and your dreams. And I thought, what? She said, you need to tell people who you are and what you do. And I thought, no, no, no. Now I'm going to tell you why I thought, no, no, no. Because when I grew up in my culture, if you talked about your accomplishments and the things that you did, it was considered bragging. It was not a positive thing to do. But with Rose's coaching, I decided, let me step out. Let me do a little more speaking. Let me step out. As I got a little older, talking about the relationship, my mom and I, as she got older and I got older, our relationship really started deteriorating. We had all kinds of challenges in our relationship. We could not get along. And I didn't know what was wrong. I would complain to my friends. You know, I don't know. If I say blue, she'll say black. If I say it's sunny, she'll say it's cloudy. No matter what. And then we would argue, argue, argue. And at one time we were so close and I couldn't understand what was happening. And I thought it was just me by myself. I thought I was alone. And the more I talked with women and I found out that I really wasn't alone, and I did some research into it, I found out that it's over 80% of adult daughters who have challenging relationships with their mothers. And it was affecting every part of their life. It was affecting their personal relationships and their professional relationships. Now, I have something that I keep in here, and I let it out though, and it's called listening to the universe. And I like to say, one day God tapped me on the top of my head and said, you know what? You're going through this. You know so many women who are going through this. You need to try to help women get through this. You need to write a book. And that's what I did. I wrote a book about the challenges in the adult daughter aging mother relationship and how to navigate those challenges. I used my experiences. I used other women's experiences and their advice. And the book is entitled The Secrets to How Not to Throw Mama from the Train. And from there, I started doing coaching because women would read the book and they would say, you know what, your book has helped me so much. I really just would like to talk to you more about this and how you can help me. And I thought, oh my goodness gracious, you know, it just warms me and it warms my heart when I know that I have helped women to have a more loving relationship. But what I tell them, it's not about your mother. You cannot change your mother, but you can change the way you respond to challenging relationships. And that's something that's really, really, really very close to my heart. So now you know how I became an author and a speaker. I've met a lot of different people along the way who have really, really just placed something in me and on my heart and supported me to help me on this journey. Now, how did I become a show host? Through another relationship. A friend of mine, Brenda Tucker Jeffries, kept telling me about her coach. Oh, he is just wonderful. He's magnificent. Janice, you're pursuing your passion and what you feel your purpose is. You need to really talk with him. Well, I thought, I don't need a coach. I can do this by myself. Which, of course, no. Everybody needs a coach. Anyway, the coach, Lauren Michaels Harris. Lauren Michaels Harris has taken me from no, I don't want to get out there, to becoming a talk show host. Relationships. It's all about your relationships. It's all about your personal relationships, and it's all about your professional relationships. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about my personal relationships. Oh, I've been talking for 25 minutes. Okay, we'll stop in 5 minutes. I grew up really without a dad. And that, I would say, that influence, because the lack of that relationship influenced me on the type of men that I chose. And I say chose. One day, I think I might have been in my 50s. And that was a little while ago. And I really talked to my dad. And I really, when you're a kid, you wonder, why is it that a parent doesn't want you? You feel like they don't want you, and they don't love you. And you take ownership. And I talked with him. And the more and more I talked with him, I discovered that because of his upbringing and his lifestyle, he didn't have the capacity. And that freed me. And that freed me into looking for a different kind of man. And I found him. I found my husband. Now, when I say past kind of wrong relationships, I was married. I got married twice. But now this is the third time. And the third time is the charm. I married 10 years ago, Mr. Keith Edward Fortman. The third time is the charm. Relationships matter. Always try and keep positive relationships in your life. If you have toxic relationships, relationships that are non-supportive, relationships where you feel, oh God, the phone rings, you see that name, oh my God, I hate to talk to that person because they bring me down. You know what? In a very nice way, remove those toxic relationships from your life. So that's just a little bit about me. Actually, it's a whole lot about me. But I kind of wanted to give you the journey of where I came from to where I am now. It took a long time, but a journey is never ending. I am a product of all of my relationships. And I just told you just about a few relationships that really have impacted my life and got me to where I am now. My journey is not over. I am, on December 5th, I had a birthday, and a lot of you came to my virtual birthday party, and I am 79 years old. I will be 80 this year. Wow. But I'm still on my journey. So that's a little bit about me. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take a brief break, and I want you to share with me, to share with my audience, just your relationships, how your relationships have gotten you to where you are today. And if just you want to talk about a relationship, or you want to talk about a relationship challenges you have in relationships, or you just got some good old advice, I want you to share with me and with my audience. I'll be right back. All right, I am back. Thank you, Marcy. I really appreciate that. Now, Marcy is a friend of mine. He's talking about relationships. Marcy is an author. Marcy is a Toastmaster. And I met Marcy through my Toastmasters journey. And I think we've been knowing each other, I would say, over 10 years, I think, stuff like that. And she inspires me. She does a little bit of everything. She tried to inspire me to blog, but I haven't gotten there yet. But I'm gonna get there, Marcy. I'm gonna get there. And hi, CJ. Thank you so much, CJ. CJ is the owner and operator of She's All That, and she has a modeling agency called Fiercely Real Models. And what CJ does is she brings all kinds of models, young, old, me. I think I'm the oldest one. And all kinds of shapes. You don't have to be tall and slim and shapely. You can be whatever. You can be from a size 2 to a size 22. CJ is, and that's what we call her, CJ. She is a wonderful person to meet. She's supportive. She's inspirational. Yeah, I just love me some CJ. Love me some CJ. So, okay, yeah, Marcy, we've known each other for over 10 years. For over 10 years. And you know what? I have friends that we still have relationship, positive, supportive relationships from kindergarten. So, in other words, oh, something's in my eye. In other words, I have friends that I've known for Jesus. If I'm 79, then, and I'm not good at math, but I was 5 years old when I met them, and we are still friends. Now, I had some questions that um, came through. It says the first question was, who has been an inspiration to you? Oh, gee, something in my eye. I'm sorry. Um, First of all, of course, my mom. She was really a great inspiration. Um, my husband has been an inspiration. I have a friend. It was my mother's friend, Christine Johnson. She's an inspiration. You know what? She keeps me on level. When I'm getting ready to go off on the deep end on something, Christine is always there to bring me back down. Another one of my relationships that I'm going to talk about, whose inspiration, no, also is a friend of mine, Gwen Maben. And when you talk, and I am so blessed and so fortunate to have that girl in my life. We have known each other since the early 70s. And she said that when she first saw me and met me in elementary school, she said I was haughty, but I wasn't. I was just tall and she's short, although she won't admit she's short. But we have gone through thick and thin, ups and downs. She is supportive. She is loyal. That's one of the qualities you should seek in your relationships. Trust, trust, trust. I can't say that too many times. Trust. So when I think about who has inspired me, people have inspired me on different levels and for different reasons. So I've got a lot of people who have inspired me in my life, actually. And just to keep me young, it's an inspiration. A lot of people have inspired me because some people will say, you know, girl, you're 79 years old, you're going to be 80 pretty soon. You need to sit down, shut up, get in that rocking chair. But then I have others who tell me, Janice, keep going until you can't go anymore. Stay on your journey. And that's the kind of relationships you want. Okay, so this other question, kind of similar. It says, in your life, who has been the most influential to you? That's kind of hard to say. That's a hard question. Well, of course, I'm going to say the Bible. That's not a person, but that's inspirational. That's motivational. That's my spiritual. That's where I'm grounded. Spiritual. Oh, I have another friend here. Now, this is my traveling buddy. It's Maxine Walker. Maxine and I have been everywhere. We even go on shopping trips. And when we end up, we shop so much that we end up having to buy suitcases to bring stuff home. We've been on cruises together. Maxine is very supportive. Maxine is also an inspiration. Maxine is the type of woman who really gives of herself. herself. She's involved with pantries where she gives food to needy people who are hungry and need food. She's also involved with homeless women, so she's involved with the women's shelter, and she's also a fellow South Side wine diva. And we're not winos, not really, but we do educate ourselves. We are educating ourselves as far as wine is concerned. So Maxine says, yes, we all need to keep going. Now, Marcy, and I want to be purpose-filled and fabulous like you when I'm your age. Thank you, Marcy. And CJ, Marcy wants to be a natural hair model. So I'm going to connect you with her. Let's see now. What I would like you to do, and this is a request from someone who came in a different way. Walk down memory lane and share a memorable moment. So I'm going to ask Marcy, and I'm going to ask CJ, because those are people I can see. And I'm going to ask Maxine. So just shoot it to me. What is a memorable moment in your life? So I'm going to wait until you shoot it to me because I have to read it. And the most memorable moment in my life was, of course, when I had my son, my only child, Kevin Michael Lowe. And he's a joy. I really was a single parent, and it's hard for a mom to raise a man. Now, some women say, oh no, it's not, but actually it is. It's a little difficult. But I managed, and he hasn't given me any real problems. Never been to jail, never been on drugs or anything like that. And I know he's going to hate this when I say this, but I would like to be a grandmother before I'm 100 years old. So at least I'll know that this is a baby and that this is my grandchild. He's not going to like that. Oh, it's Kevin, I don't know if you want me to put that on there. But anyway, so here's Marcy with something she's going to share. She said, when I left my job and 12-year career in human resources to pursue my passion for writing. All righty, writing is my life. I remember when Marcy left her job, and we would think, oh, what is she going to do? How is she going to sustain herself, support herself? Marcy's doing great. Marcy is a part of Chicago Writers Association. She's in one of the top positions. She has written books. She has written workbooks. She is phenomenal. She's a phenomenal woman. Now, CJ, I know that you've had a memorable moment. And Maxine, I know that you've had a memorable moment. And Lauren, I know you had several memorable moments. So share with me memorable moments, or just share with me a good relationship advice. What is a good advice that you could give someone in their personal relationship or in their professional relationships, in their love relationships, in their family relationships? While I'm waiting on you all, another important topic that I want to share is forgiveness. We all have had those relationships where we feel that someone has either taken advantage of us or done us wrong mentally or even hurt us physically or spiritually. Forgiveness. Now, forgiveness, you might not forget, but forgiveness. To me, forgiveness is difficult. I'm on that path right now. I'm in that journey right now of forgiving. But what I've learned is before you can forgive someone else, you have to forgive yourself first. And you have to forgive yourself for not forgiving whoever it is that hurt you. It's important. It's important, especially if you treasure relationships, your relationships. It's very important. Now, Maxine has, her memorable moments. My children, raising them as a single parent without any support from their father. I stepped out on faith. Thank you, Maxine. And I have had the pleasure of knowing Maxine's daughter and son and granddaughter, two granddaughters, actually, little bitty one, and stepping out on faith. Yes, 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 yes. Uh, and I'd like to say that to any women out there who really are raising children by themselves. You have to remember that that relationship that you have with your children is going to affect every aspect of their lives. It's going to affect all of their relationships, personal and professional. It was amazing to me when I started researching that mother-daughter relationship and how it affects everything. It affects the friends we choose. It affects the careers we go into. It affects the men we choose, along with the father, of course, the absence or the presence of the father. But it's the female that really affects it the most. It affects if you get married, it affects who you marry, it affects if you have children, it affects everything. If you think about it, you look back, you will see, and that's something that I had to do. I had to look back, and I thought, wow, the kind of friends that I choose, everything about me is it really comes from that very, very, very first relationship. Relationships matter. All relationships. And there are all kinds of relationship matters. Now, in my future shows, we're going to delve in, we're going to dive in deeper into relationships, into family relationships, relationships between fathers and sons, mothers and sons, sisters and brothers. And then we're going to, I'm a Toastmaster, I should say gonna. We're going to talk about professional relationships, the relationships with your employer, with your employees, if you are an entrepreneur, with your clients, how important it is to form relationships. Next week on my show, I'm going to have an expert on the issues of what's happening today with teenagers and drugs and how to recognize the signs if you have a teenager, how to recognize the signs that your teen is troubled and that your teen might be using drugs. I saw some research and it said that now during COVID, there are more and more teens committing suicide. And so we're going to talk about that next week. So like I said, I'm going to delve into some deeper relationship matters because from what I'm understanding, not only is it COVID, but also the relationships that they're having with their parents and with their siblings. I'm also going to, at my year anniversary show, I'm going to go back and talk with the 3 couples that were on my very first show. And we talked about the effect of being quarantined together, what was going on, how was it affecting their marriage. And a year later, I want to know, have things changed? Have they grown closer together? Or have they grown apart? And I want to go back to this because I have friends, and because of being quarantined together, their marriages have fallen apart. One, they're getting divorced after 26 years of marriage. The other, not divorced yet, but they're really going their separate ways. But then I have friends who are married and they're telling me that they have grown closer together. So I want to go back and talk to these couples just to see, okay, what the heck is going on? Now, I have been quarantined with my hubby. Ooh, how long has it been? Seems like only yesterday. But anyway, and fortunately, he has a man cave. But I think that we have grown closer together, actually, because we were both working. Well, he was working, and then, I was doing my entrepreneur and speaking and traveling and traveling and traveling. And sometimes we were like, 2 ships passing in the night. Whereas now, no, we're not. We do everything together. The only thing that kind of gets me, and probably maybe some of you women can relate to this. I don't know why I have to watch The Godfather 30 times. Like, once you watch it maybe even 4 or 5 times, why you got to keep watching it? That's the only thing. However, on the other side, what he says, why am I watching Star Trek Next Generation every single day for at least 3 hours? Even if I'm in my office, I have it on. So I guess I'll just say, I understand. If it's something that you like, you like. Now, do we have any more questions or any more comments? Oh, something else came in. What is this? For those of you women who have raised your children by yourself, have you seen a man during your life who has taken care of business with their kids? So I guess this means, in other words, if you're dating and the man that you're dating has children, how is that affecting your relationship with him? Especially if you're seeing if he is actually taking care of business with his children. Are there any takers out there other than the person who sent that question in? Well, let's see. I know that Maxine, I don't know. I can go back until I get an answer. I can kind of go back to when I was dating, and a couple of times I dated guys who were divorced and had children. And of course, there were a couple who I thought, what? You mean you don't see your kids? You know, you're not supporting them? Well, of course, that relationship was over. But then I did date a couple of guys who were divorced and they were really taking care of their children. As a matter of fact, it could be we could have planned a date to go out on a Friday night or a Saturday night, and if one of their children called, that date was over. And I thought, you know what? That's really great in that they are supporting their children. So I don't see anyone who responded. So wait a minute, Maxine, you say yes. Would date a deadbeat? Would you date a deadbeat? Or maybe you were typing too fast because you probably have dated a deadbeat. You probably let him go because I know that you won't date a deadbeat because I know you. Well, this has been my journey. I just wanted you to know because I'm always interviewing people and talking to them about their journey and how they got from one point or from the beginning of their journey to my fingers to the end of, not to the end, but where they are now in their journeys. And I just kind of wanted for you to get to know me because you have gotten the opportunity to know others through relationship matters. If you have any questions that you really want to know more about me, you can. So now I'm going to do a shameless plug. I have been nominated as the honorary Global Woman of 2021. In order for me to win, I need your votes. Now, you can go to, and I'm going to keep scrolling it across the screen, so you'll have time to get a pen and paper and write it down and vote for me. It's https://voting.globalwomanlounge.com. I want to win. If you think that I should be the honorary Global Woman of 2021, I would appreciate it very much if you would vote for me. Now, I really didn't do all of my commercials this evening. However, if you would like to advertise on this show with eye-catching videos and increase your visibility, you can contact J.H. Fortman and Associates at 1-877-667-7325, or you can email me at janfornow125@gmail.com. Also, if you're interested in purchasing one of my books, The Secrets to How Not to Throw Mama from the Train, or The Little Book of Big Behavior Interventions. You can also send your requests to my email, jan49@gmail.com. I have one more comment I see that came in. Okay, yeah. Maxine, I knew that's what you meant. I knew that's what you meant, that you would not date a deadbeat. So this is really coming to the end of my show. As I said, I just wanted you to know just a little bit more about me and just my journey of who I am and why I am. I am a product of my relationships. I am on a journey, and my journey includes informing you and educating you, inspiring you, and motivating you to take care of the relationships that you treasure, that there are all kinds of relationship matters, there are all kinds of relationships, and there are all kinds of journeys. Stay on your journey. Whatever passion you have, go for it. We all have a purpose, and our journeys really are leading us to our purpose. So please, everybody out there, stay safe, be blessed. And I want you to remember that relationships do matter. So long, and as I said, stay safe and be blessed. Bye now. See you next week, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Bye-bye.